My name is Aya Murakami. I'm 25 and a normal office worker. Today, I'd like to share an episode where my little sister and I had a fight over our spouses. First, I'll tell you about my family. We're a family of 4. Me, my sister, and our parents. My sister Nagisa is 3 years younger than me, and even though we often had fights as children, I think that we got on pretty well. But once we became teenagers, that came to an end. It's not like something really serious happened. I guess it's because of our differing personalities and opinions. By the time I realized, our relationship was icy cold. In our teenage years, even though we were in the same house, we hardly spoke to one another. And I remember it being a really uncomfortable environment. However, after becoming adults, we were able to compromise a bit more. We're not really friendly, but at least we were communicating more civilly. Then, our relationship worsened because of a certain incident. It began with a message from my sister.
Aya, do you have some time?
What's up? Did something happen?
I have really good news to share with you.
What is it?
Oh, but you might not be so happy about it. Don't get jealous, okay?
Hurry up and tell me.
I'm going to get married.
Good for you! Congratulations!
Do you really mean that? Aren't you jealous?
I'm not. What kind of guy is he?
I don't want to brag, but he's a great guy. I'm gonna live in riches for the rest of my life. We're gonna go visit Mom and Dad on the weekend, so you should come see him too.
My sister decided to get married while she was still in university. At this point, I only had good wishes for her and wasn't disapproving at all. But when she brought him to her parents' house...
Nice to meet you. My name is Makoto. Thank you for inviting me into your home.
On first impressions, the man called Makoto seemed like an ideal fiancé, but he was in his 30s, and you could smell the elitist off of him. As we listened to him introduce himself, we found out that he had graduated from a top university, and his father was running a real estate company to which he was the heir to. We couldn't make any complaints about his background. My sister was grinning like a Cheshire cat, so proud of her catch.
He's amazing, isn't he? I just got no chance of meeting a guy like this.
She was saying it jokingly, but she was clearly trying to make me feel inferior. Well, I understood that she would want to brag. It's a bit embarrassing to say it myself, but I excelled more than her in my studies and in sports. My sister was popular and had a lot of friends, but I guess she felt she had nothing to be proud of. I had noticed that she had an inferiority complex towards me. My parents, however...
Could you wait until she graduates before getting married?
They're not wrong. Nagisa's fiancé seemed to understand and said,
Of course. But Nagisa...
I want to get married straight away. He's a wonderful man. If I wait around for too long, he'll get taken away by someone else.
I've tried telling her I won't do anything like that.
I trust him, of course, but I'll be more reassured once we're married. I want a promise that can't be broken.
Nagisa was really stubborn, and in the end, my parents had no choice but to give in and consent. After the two families had met, the ceremony was over and done in no time. I could tell why my sister was so preoccupied with getting married. She most likely wanted to avoid me getting married first while she was still in university. If I got married first, she wouldn't be able to lord it over me. On the day of the wedding, I was shocked by how extravagant the ceremony was.
Sorry, sis. I got married first. I'm sure you'll find someone soon.
I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't irritated when she said that at the party, but I ignored her. I wasn't that bothered about getting married anyway. If anything, I felt a sense of freedom, thinking that she would finally stop with the nasty comments. Unfortunately, the ferocious sister battle had only just begun. Now I'll tell you about myself. I have a boyfriend, the same age as me. His name is Tsuyoshi. We've been dating for around 2 years. He's a great guy and he's good looking. He's the perfect guy for me. Then, a few months after my sister got married...
Hiya! These past 2 years, I've been really serious about you. Please marry me!
My boyfriend proposed to me. I wasn't too interested in marriage, but we've been together for 2 years, so I felt that if I was going to get married, I wanted to marry him. Yes, I'd love to. I wanted to let my parents know straight away, so I decided to take him with me to their house. For some reason, even though they weren't invited, my sister and her husband were already waiting. It seems that my parents called them because it was a special occasion.
Hiya, congratulations on your marriage.
I'm surprised that you're getting married. I didn't know that anyone was interested.
Thanks. He'll be here any moment, so just wait a little longer. Instead of coming together, I thought it would be best for me to go ahead and talk with my parents first, before welcoming Tsuyoshi 30 minutes later.
Nice to meet you. Thank you for inviting me into your home.
Then it was finally time for Tsuyoshi's arrival. Like I said earlier, my fiancé is good looking. The second she saw his face, my sister looked frustrated, and to be frank, it felt good. However, when it came round to talking about his work...
I'm working in construction, out on the field. I don't get paid a lot monthly.
My sister reacted instantly.
Oh, that must be so tough. If the husband isn't making enough money, then I will have to keep on working even after you get married.
She grinned as she implied that Tsuyoshi's job was inferior.
It'll be tough from now on if you're a blue-collar worker. You should study and find a job that has more income.
Even my sister's husband joined in. He was born into money and had a tendency to look down on other people. I found out that he was like that after having dinner with them several times, and always thought what a perfect couple they were. As a result, they had both taken an incredibly rude attitude towards my fiancé. Tsuyoshi was laughing it off, but I wasn't as calm. Tsuyoshi, I'm really sorry about my sister and her husband.
It's okay. Everyone's different after all.
He didn't let it get to him, but on another day...
Hey, Aya, is your boyfriend really working in construction?
It's true. Why would we lie about that?
Ugh. Even if he is good looking, there's no chance of having a future with him. Are you sure?
I'm working too. There's no problem when it comes to our income. It's not that rare for both the husband and the wife to be working.
I'd hate to. What would the neighbors think? It's best for the husband to make enough money to take care of his wife. That's the ideal. Even more so if he's working in manual labor. If he gets injured, he'll just be in the way.
How could you say that about my fiancé?
Sorry. I'm just worried about you.
You're not the one that's getting married to him, so you don't have to bother.
Yeah. I just pity you, that's all.
My little sister was clearly insulting Tsuyoshi in regards to his job, and I thought she would stop trying to compare us when she married Makoto. Then, she and her husband invited us to their new home. I thought about saying I wouldn't go, but Tsuyoshi said that he wanted to have good relations with my family. We went together and found that, surprise, surprise, they were living in a luxurious apartment block. It was a penthouse with a lot of rooms. Once I started thinking about how much the rent must cost, I couldn't relax at all. Of course, they wouldn't let us off with just showing us their new home.
I guess you could never live in a place like this, could you? Shall we let you rent out one of the rooms at a low price? That would be much more luxurious than your current place.
That's true. This is the product of my vision and my effort towards that vision. Now you can see that there's a world of difference between you and I.
Their obnoxious attitude was never ending. I don't think I have to explain just how irritated I was. I couldn't forgive how rude they were being to Tsuyoshi. Thanks for inviting us. I don't plan on ever coming back.
Oh, you can come whenever you want, though.
Let's go, Tsuyoshi.
Huh? Yeah.
After leaving my sister's house, I apologized over and over to Tsuyoshi. I'm so sorry. My little sister and her husband were so rude. I don't know how I can apologize. But he laughed and said,
Well, it's true that I'm not making a lot of money. I love you. So even if you have some troublesome family, I can deal with it.
I really think that I found the perfect guy. But you're doing...
It's true that I'm not earning so much, and I don't want to go around telling everyone about that.
Hey, I have something to tell you.
It's been a long time. The last time I saw you was at your wedding, so I guess it's been 2 years.
It really has.
You didn't even have a ceremony because you didn't have the money to hold one, right? I was worried about whether you become homeless.
Thanks, we're doing fine. That's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about.
About what?
It's a bit late, but we're thinking about holding a ceremony.
You really are late.
I was hoping you both come too, if you wanted.
I wonder, we're both pretty busy. We can go to the after party if you really want.
We hadn't been able to hold a ceremony or dinner when we got married. We talked about it, and after considering the cost, we decided on just signing the certificates. My parents were really looking forward to my wedding dress. So, when they heard there wouldn't be one, they began to dislike Tsuyoshi. Furthermore, comparing us to my little sister's wedding, they began to complain about Tsuyoshi's income too. I was sick of it, and grew apart from my sister and my parents. Tsuyoshi was worried about that, and one day, suddenly...
It's really late, but how about we have a proper wedding? I think it's better to have one after all.
I told him that he didn't have to, but...
I want to have one. I want to see you in a wedding dress, and I want everyone to see how cute my wife is.
I didn't have any reason to argue back. Even 2 years after getting married, he was still a wonderful husband. So we began to prepare for a wedding. We were really busy, but it was really fun to plan the details, so it didn't feel that tough or tiring. I guess I really wanted to have a wedding after all. My little sister and her husband told us that they weren't going to attend the ceremony or the dinner and would only come for the after party. Well, it was partially my own fault, since I had given her and my parents a cold shoulder. I decided not to force her to come. 6 months later, we were able to celebrate our marriage with a ceremony. It was much later than anticipated, but my parents and many of our friends gathered for us, and the day went by peacefully.
Thank you for making it such a wonderful day! You've changed my impression of you!
Yes, I haven't been to such a lovely wedding in a really long time.
I'm sorry for making you wait so long. I'll do my best to make Aya happy from now on, too!
My parents forgot about their grudge towards him, and it looks like we'll be having a good relationship with them. Then, time for the after party. My sister and brother-in-law arrived.
Huh? What is this?
Is this really the after party?
The second they arrived, they were shocked. I'm not surprised. We had booked an entire 5-star restaurant for our party. Wine and food was being served as though it were a party for celebrities. My sister came marching towards me.
What the hell is this? Just because you want to show off doesn't mean you should go this far.
It seems that my sister thought that we were going beyond her budget. I wasn't sure about how to explain when Tsuyoshi appeared and replied in my stead.
My investment into real estate has finally gotten on track. My annual income is over 200K now, so there's no problem.
He doesn't always brag about how much he makes, but he must have guessed how I was feeling and decided to tell the truth. Ever since we were dating, he had been investing in real estate. When we first got engaged, he wasn't profiting as much and was mainly working as a construction worker. But after engagement, he finally made some profit and is still making a lot of money from his investments. Once he finished his explanation, my sister looked as though she had taken a bitter pill. Tsuyoshi then looked towards Nagisa's husband, saying,
It looks like your company is having a lot of trouble recently. If you ever need some advice, you can come to me.
And lorded over Makoto too. It looked like he was having fun. I think he deserves a chance to get back at Makoto. If anything, I think he's allowed to say much more. Makoto turned bright red and looked down. Nagisa reacted.
What is he talking about?
And began interrogating him. Makoto hadn't been completely honest with Nagisa about his work. Tsuyoshi continued.
Oh, don't you know? Even though you're his wife? The company that Makoto's father owns is on its way to bankruptcy because of the lack of profits. I think it'll be tough to keep on living in a luxurious apartment like that.
You're kidding, Makoto. Is that true?
No! We're not going bankrupt! We're just in a tough spot right now.
That's news to me. What are we gonna do from now on?
Shut up! All you do is use up my money! You don't have any right to complain!
What?
From then on, they only continued to argue ferociously. They only stopped once we called security to escort them out. Nagisa ended up staying at her parents' house and didn't speak to Makoto at all. After that, Makoto, who had been so obnoxious towards Tsuyoshi, tried to get closer to him to get his help, but Nagisa interfered, saying that she wouldn't forgive him if he was aided by us. They were still married, so I guess Nagisa didn't want to accept support from someone she thought was beneath her. As for Tsuyoshi, he thought that there was no helping Makoto's company. He told me that the only way out for them was to file for bankruptcy. In the end, Makoto's company did just that. And Nagisa abandoned Makoto as soon as he became unemployed.
Hey, how about we rebuild this house? It's too small. You only use cheap ingredients when you make dinner? Ugh, it's horrible.
After her divorce, my little sister was living with my parents. But she had gotten used to living rich and complained about everything and anything. To top it off, she didn't work, so my parents finally had enough and cut ties with her.
Hey, big sis!
What? Don't call me big sis just because you want something.
You're so horrible. Can you take care of me for a while? Makoto is useless.
Unfortunately, that's a no. I spoke to Tsuyoshi and Mom and Dad are coming to live with us.
Huh? Why?
Their house is really old, so we're going to take it down and sell the land. They say they're going to give all the money they make selling it. We're thinking about adding our own money and maybe building a much bigger house or buying an apartment.
Then why can't you let me live with you too? It's only one more person. You have plenty of money.
I don't want to live with you, who spent most of her adult years looking down on us.
I'll apologize, so please! At this rate, I'll have to live on the streets. Are you okay with that?
How about you use this as a chance to learn how tough working is? I'm not telling you where we plan to live, and we'll have plenty of security. So don't forget that if you try something, you'll be arrested. I ended the phone call and blocked her phone calls. I also blocked her on social networking. After that, Tsuyoshi and I welcomed my parents into our home, which was a large and comfortable new apartment. There was a gym and a large garden in the building, so my parents could have plenty of exercise. There was a cafe so they could enjoy tea with other residents. It was perfect for enjoying their hobbies. A few years later, I still hadn't spoken to Nagisa at all. But funnily enough, I heard about her whereabouts from Tsuyoshi. Tsuyoshi's friend happened to tell us about a girl they met in a club who was really attached to money. When they showed us a photo, we saw that the woman he was talking about was Nagisa. It seems that she's working in a club, throwing herself at men wearing branded clothing, hoping they would take care of her. Losing her job as she did it and moving to another club. Soon, she would be forbidden from entering any club. I guess that's what she gets for being so obsessed with money. I hope I can treasure my relationships with my parents and Tsuyoshi more than I treasure money.